There's a level of obsession that makes people look at you with concern. And today you'll discover exactly how to harness it. Have you ever seen that person who thinks about one thing constantly? Who breathes, eats, and sleeps their vision? Who can't have a normal conversation because everything redirects back to that singular focus? While everyone else dabbles and explores, they tunnel deeper. While everyone else seeks balance, they dive into beautiful imbalance. And you know what people say about them? Man, that's not healthy. There's a psychological state discovered by researchers studying peak performers that produces exactly this kind of frightening singularity. They call it directed obsession, the mental state that reshapes reality itself. And once you understand how it works, you'll never approach your goals the same way again. But there's a catch. This mindset isn't for everyone. It requires you to sacrifice the comfortable version of yourself you've been protecting. But before I show you how it works, subscribe to the channel, like it below, and comment on the one thing you're willing to become obsessed with. This helps me a lot and shows me that you're genuinely interested in transforming. Let's go. The Awakening. The story I'm about to tell you happened to a designer named Marcus. He was talented with a promising career, but he had one problem. He couldn't commit fully to anything. Art? He'd dabble. Business? Surface level. Relationships? Always one foot out the door. The pattern was always the same. Monday, new exciting project. Wednesday, first signs of doubt. Friday, already looking for the next thing. Sunday, convinced the grass was greener somewhere else. Marcus tried everything. Meditation apps, productivity systems, mastermind groups. Nothing created depth because he was avoiding something he couldn't even name, the terrifying commitment of going all in on one singular vision. Until the day he discovered why certain individuals achieve what seems impossible to everyone else. And no, it's not talent, it's something much deeper and much more unsettling. The secret of singular vision. In neuroscience labs, there's a phenomenon that seems extreme but changes everything: obsessive focus. Researchers studying flow states discovered that when someone achieves complete immersion in a single pursuit, their brain literally restructures itself. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-doubt and distraction, goes quiet. The amygdala, which processes fear and hesitation, reduces activity. What remains is pure, undiluted focus. Do you understand what that means? It means that since high achievers discovered this state, they've operated in a reality most people never access. Not occasionally, not when they feel like it, constantly. You want to know what never happens in their world? They never question whether their obsession is worth it. The question simply doesn't exist in their minds. Why? Because they understand something you don't yet. Your brain needs a primary directive, a North Star so bright that everything else fades into irrelevance. When you give it that, when you declare one thing as supreme, you're not making a choice. You're changing your operating system. The negotiation ends. The obsession begins. A Stanford neuroscientist studying behavioral patterns for over a decade discovered something revolutionary. When you commit to a singular obsession publicly, your primitive brain interprets abandonment as identity death. Our ancestors who lost their purpose in the tribe lost their will to survive. Your brain still works that way. That's exactly what Marcus did. He stopped being interested in many things and became obsessed with one thing. He wrote on paper, "I am building the most revolutionary design studio in the city within 18 months. Nothing else matters." He signed it. He posted it everywhere. He told everyone he knew. His family said, "You're being extreme." His friends said, "What about balance?" Perfect. Every person who questioned him became fuel. Every morning, he wanted to ease up. He thought about the humiliation of being just another person who talked big but delivered small. Day 5 brought the first real test. An amazing opportunity appeared, a well-paying job that would delay his obsession by 2 years. Immediately, his mind began its usual negotiation. This is smart. This is practical. You can always do your thing later. But something fundamental had changed. The thought of posting online that he'd abandoned his obsession after 5 days was unbearable. Having to look his family in the face and admit he'd chosen comfort over his declared vision again. The public declaration had made quitting more painful than continuing. But here the real problem began: the elimination. Even with complete commitment, Marcus was still fragmenting his attention every single day. His obsession didn't care about distractions. It wanted total devotion. And he was still checking social media, still watching shows, still saying yes to every social invitation. That's when he discovered the obsessive second principle: ruthless elimination. Every single day, you waste mental energy on things that don't serve your obsession. Every notification, every casual conversation, every comfortable distraction burns up cognitive fuel that should be feeding your singular vision. You're pouring water into a bucket with 100 holes, instead of sealing every leak and watching it overflow. Marcus made a list of everything in his life and asked one question: does this directly serve my obsession? 90% got eliminated. No more mindless scrolling. No more casual hangouts. No more shows that didn't teach him something about design or business. The elimination wasn't about productivity. It was about creating a vacuum so total that his obsession was the only thing that could fill it. The first week was brutal. Friends stopped inviting him places. People called him antisocial. That's normal. Your social circle is designed to keep you average, and you're forcing yourself beyond their comfort zone. In the second week, something shifted. Without distractions competing for his attention, his mind started defaulting to his obsession. Walking to get coffee, he'd think about design strategies. In the shower, he'd solve business problems. His unconscious mind had accepted the new program. By week 3, people started noticing. You seem different. You seem intense. His response was perfect. Good. Because when your obsession makes others uncomfortable, you're finally operating at the right frequency. Your existence proves that the life they call balanced is actually just diluted. But Marcus discovered a new obstacle. His obsession was clear, but his daily actions were still scattered. He'd eliminated distractions, but he hadn't created a singular pathway. That's where the concept of the only way became critical, because it requires you to do the exact same obsession-serving actions every single day until your identity completely merges with your vision. The ritual of obsession. You think variety creates progress, but variety is actually where obsession dies. Every time you change your approach, your brain has to rebuild neural pathways. Should I work on design today or business development? Which project deserves my focus? How should I allocate my time? Every micro-decision is a leak in your obsessive energy. Marcus created what he called his sacred sequence: 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pure design work, no exceptions. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Business development calls and emails. 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Client work that funded the obsession. Same blocks, same order, same commitment. His friends called him robotic. His girlfriend said he'd lost spontaneity. They didn't understand that spontaneity was the enemy. Third week, his mind rebelled. This is too rigid. You're missing life. What about creativity and flow? Fourth week, something broke. Not his structure, but his resistance. The voice of negotiation went silent. By week 7, he was designing before he even consciously woke up. His hands would reach for his tablet while his mind was still emerging from sleep. The obsession was operating him. This is what people don't understand about true obsession. It's not about willpower sustaining you forever. It's about repetition until you disappear and only the obsession remains. Your identity dissolves into your vision like salt into water. Neuroscience research shows that when you repeat an obsessive pattern in the same context for approximately 66 days, your basal ganglia take over. The behavior becomes automatic. You are no longer choosing to be obsessed. You simply are. On day 42, Marcus got sick. On day 50, a family emergency demanded his attention. This is where the old pattern returns. Emergency, exception, abandonment. This is where you quit before, where everyone quits, because perfect obsession requires perfect conditions, and perfect conditions do not exist. But the truly obsessed understand something about continuity that changes everything. They know that obsession doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. What saved Marcus when everything went wrong was understanding that his obsession could adapt without abandoning. Obsession without gaps. The all-or-nothing lie has killed more potential than failure ever could. You tell yourself, if I can't give my obsession 8 hours today, why bother? If I can't do perfect work, I'll wait until tomorrow. This thinking creates gaps. And gaps are where your old identity crawls back in. Look at any world-class achiever, and you'll see something people misinterpret. They have difficult days, but those difficult days still serve the obsession. They're strategic, intentional, necessary, never because they felt like giving up, never because they wanted a break from their vision. A fire never stops burning. During a storm, it may be smaller, but it never goes out. The moment it extinguishes, it's no longer a fire. It's ashes. Your obsession is the same. The moment you create a gap, you're no longer obsessed. You're someone who used to be obsessed. The family emergency hit on day 50. Hospital visits all day. No access to his studio. No time for his sacred sequence. Marcus designed on his phone in the hospital waiting room. People looked at him like he'd lost his humanity. Perfect. He made business calls in the parking lot. He sketched concepts on napkins. Nothing was perfect. Everything maintained the fire. This is true obsession. Practice continuing itself regardless of conditions. That's when people started to worry. Friends staged an intervention. Family said his obsession wasn't healthy. Someone actually said, "Normal people don't live like this." When you hear these words, you know you're on the right path. Normal people get normal results. You're not trying to be normal. You're trying to be legendary. But here's what no one prepares you for: the invisible resistance that emerges not from outside, but from within. The death of your former self. Your biggest obstacle isn't other people questioning your obsession. It's the part of you that still wants to be who you were. That part that misses casual friendships. That part that wants to relax without guilt. That part that wonders if maybe everyone else is right and you're taking things too far. This is the moment that separates the truly obsessed from those who merely play at intensity. The moment where you have to kill your former identity completely. Psychologists studying behavioral transformation discovered that lasting change requires identity, death, and rebirth. You can't become obsessed while still holding on to your balanced self. One must die for the other to fully live. Marcus had to grieve. He mourned the version of himself that could enjoy a movie without analyzing the cinematography for design lessons. He mourned the person who could have a beer with friends without the obsession pulling his attention back. The grief was real. The death was necessary. Month 4, he woke up and didn't recognize himself in the mirror, not physically, mentally. The person staring back was someone who thought about design 16 hours a day. Someone whose dreams were filled with color theory and spatial concepts. Someone who couldn't remember the last conversation that wasn't about his vision. He'd become what he'd declared. The obsession wasn't something he had. It was something he was. A Yale behavioral psychologist studying personality transformation found that when obsession reaches critical mass, it rewrites your neural architecture. You're not the same person with a new hobby. You're a fundamentally different human, operating on a different frequency. Month 6, Marcus's studio launched. The work was unlike anything the city had seen. Not because of talent, because of obsession made visible. Every pixel carried the weight of someone who'd thought of nothing else for 180 days. Competitors asked, "How did you do this so fast?" The answer was simple: I didn't do anything else. When you eliminate everything that isn't your obsession, time bends. 6 months of obsession equals 5 years of balanced effort. Not because of working harder. Because there's no cognitive fragmentation, no energy wasted on decisions, distractions, or doubt. The transformation. Because when your obsession makes others afraid, you're finally operating at the level where reality reshapes itself around you. Your existence proves that everything they say requires balance actually just requires surrender. Total, complete, frightening surrender to one singular vision. That's why they'll call you extreme. That's why they'll say you've lost perspective. They need you to dilute yourself so they can feel better about their scattered attention. But you're not doing it for them. You're doing it because you've discovered the secret. Obsession isn't about thinking about something constantly. It's about becoming indistinguishable from that thing. When you implement the obsession system, public declaration, ruthless elimination, sacred sequence, obsession without gaps, and identity, death, you're not just pursuing a goal. You're performing an exorcism on your former self. You stop being someone who wants something and become the embodiment of that thing. And when that happens, when that transformation is complete, people will look at you and think, "How is he so focused?" And the answer will be simple. He isn't focused on it. He is it. The question remains, are you ready for this level of transformation? Because it's not about obsession. It's about dissolution and reconstitution. The dissolution of your balanced self. The reconstitution of your obsessed self. The obsession system won't make you a better version of yourself. It'll make you unrecognizable. Someone others will look at and think, "That's not normal." And when you hear those words, you'll know you've finally become what you declared. If this video changed your perspective on obsession and singular focus, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss future content that will transform you. And tell me in the comments what your obsession will be. What singular vision will you surrender to using this system? Remember, the obsession that frightens others is the only obsession worth having. If you've watched this far, thank you very much for your attention. See you in the next video.